I'm so excited because today I'm going to take you on a tour of my ultimate dream sewing studio in my backyard. If you missed part one, I show you how I built the space and we'll link to that below. So let's get right into it. Let's go on a tour. I'm going to start with my favorite part, which is this big bookshelf unit from IKEA, which I absolutely love. And we used to have this in our office at work and we stopped using it. So I just brought it home. So essentially I got this thing for free, which is kind of awesome. And I use it to house so much stuff. So up here, I keep most of my vintage patterns, and those are all sorted by decade. And then I also keep my audio and video equipment up here in these really nice crates. I have these wooden organizers, which are also from IKEA, and they were also going unused in our office. They've been in there for many years, so I took these home as well, and I'm using these to sort notions like elastic and webbing and other things like that. In the small crates, I keep scrap fabric sorted by color. I also keep my cone thread on the shelves, though I might have to come up with another solution if I get much more thread, but for now it's looking really pretty on the shelves. I decided to get a portable record player so I can listen to music out here, and I took all my records from inside the house, and I have those sorted in milk crates as well. And I got some speakers and a really inexpensive little portable player so I can listen to records out here in the shed. And then for lighting, I got this really inexpensive industrial lamp. It was about $15, and then I bought this large amber Edison bulb, which provides this really pretty glowing light, and I just love it. It's really, really warm. And then these little votive candles you might notice here, I am just way too safety conscious to have candles out in the shed in the woods here. So these are actually just little inexpensive LED candles, and they're remote controlled actually, so they're really easy to just turn on and off. And speaking of lighting, the overhead lighting are these beautiful large rice paper pendants. I just love how soft and diffused the light is. It's again, a really beautiful ambiance, but at the same time, they're bright enough so that I can see what I'm doing without straining my eyes. I have this floor basket over here near the shelves, and that's where I keep my rolled up patterns, either patterns I'm going to be sewing soon or ones that I've already cut out and I think I might use again. All right, now let's move on to my cutting area. I absolutely love my cutting table, which is a koala cabinet. So it's a cabinet with a top that folds out so they can use it for a cutting table, and you just put a large cutting mat on the top. Behind the cabinet doors, there are all these drawers, and that's where I keep most of my fabric. The top drawer is where I keep the cutting tools that I use the most often. And that's really handy because when I'm cutting, I can actually just leave this drawer open if I want access to things like pattern weights, or my rotary cutter, or a marking tool. The cabinet's also on casters, so I can move it around and push it against the wall if I need to. But in reality, I usually just leave it folded out for cutting. On the walls above my cutting table, I hung these wood peg rails, and I have some baskets and totes hanging from those, and I use those to house projects that are in progress. Another thing that really comes in handy is my thread caddy. I've been using one of these for many, many years, and it's my favorite way to organize thread. So this thread caddy is made by Artbin. I keep it stashed behind my cutting table between the cutting table and the wall. I keep my thread organized by color, and I separate the all-purpose thread from the specialty thread like silk thread or top stitching thread or cotton thread so that I don't accidentally grab a specialty thread. You'll notice my windows and the French doors in front are naked, and I'm planning to sew some simple linen curtains for them. But right now I'm still waiting on the curtain rod I ordered, so for now at least they let in a ton of light. So moving over to the other side of the French doors, I have another small peg rail, and below that a big industrial laundry basket on casters. This huge laundry basket was Haley's idea, and you might remember from the last video, she suggested a big rolling basket for stashing all of my larger video and lighting equipment, so that's what I've done here, and I absolutely love it. It was such a great solution. I do think that I might want to make a little mini quilt or something to go over the top just to hide this ugly black equipment and make it a little bit prettier, but it really does the job of keeping it all out of the way. On the wall over here in the corner, I hung this cute squiggly mirror, and I just love having a mirror in my sewing space. And that way I can check my progress as I go and try things on and just see how things look as I'm sewing. Now let's talk about my sewing mega desk. This desk also folds down really small, but I never really fold it, and I always have it out like this. So it's a big L-shaped desk with a drop-down area for the sewing machine. So I can drop the sewing machine down and put this little cutting mat on top and use it as a regular desk or table. This front leaf also folds down to give me a little bit more room if I want it, although I usually have it folded out. I also have this big antique basket that I found in an antique mall, and it's stuffed with overflow fabric that doesn't fit in my drawers, and mostly it's fabric that I plan to sew with soon, or fabric that's really inspiring me right now. I just love how much surface area I have with this desk. It really is multi-purpose for me, and I use it for my sewing obviously, but I also sometimes use it just as a regular desk. And Haley and I also use it for podcasting, so it really is multifunctional. When I'm sewing, I have this simple rolling stool, and I really prefer using a rolling stool or a rolling chair so I can easily slide back and forth between my sewing machine and my serger. I also keep my iron stashed back here and a little fold-up ironing board. Since I don't have a ton of space for a full-size ironing board, this is a real space saver, and I was a little bit worried about having such a small ironing board for sewing, but it's really worked out just fine. If I need to press large lengths of fabric, I just do that in the house with my regular ironing board. Finally, there's my gigantic corkboard behind the sewing desk, which I absolutely love. I made this corkboard with cork tiles and command strips, and it was super easy. And if you want to see more about that, be sure to watch the previous video, part 1 of building the shed. You guys might remember that I had a huge felt mood board in my office, which was my sewing room previously, so I really wanted to have something like that in here, and this corkboard has worked out perfectly. I love the visual reminders of what I'm working on and what I'm planning and my inspiration, and it really just fuels me creatively to see this on my wall every time I walk in here. I absolutely love having something like this in my creative space, but if you don't have this huge amount of wall space, you could easily do this with just 1 or 2 cork tiles, and it doesn't have to take up a lot of room. You'll be amazed at what you can fit in a small area. And that's my sewing shed. I hope you all enjoyed this tour. Having this space has been such an absolute dream. It's such a privilege to be able to dedicate so much space to something I love, and I feel so lucky every single time I walk in. It's such a serene, calm, and peaceful place to be. And having a space that inspires those kinds of feelings is just invaluable to me. And if you enjoyed this and you want to see more ways that people set up their sewing spaces, you might want to check out the Seamwork community. When you join, you get access to our entire catalog of over 200 modern sewing patterns, from quick and easy tops to wear anywhere dresses to tailored blazers and pants. We help you to design and craft your own wardrobe. Membership also gets you access to Design Your Wardrobe, our popular course that walks you through a process for laying out a seasonal wardrobe that you can sew. Plus, membership includes our library of dozens of sew-along classes, and best of all, access to our private sewing community, including tens of thousands of members, where you can post projects, ask questions, and even find sewing friends near you. I hang out there all the time along with Haley and the rest of the team here at Seamwork, and I'd love for you to join me. YouTube subscribers get half off a Seamwork membership, making it an incredibly good deal. To sign up, just click the button on screen or the link in the description below to claim your offer. I hope you loved this video, and I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next one.